Alright, hello and welcome to a probably one-off video until I go further in the game. Further being more updates. Satisfactory, I did a stream in for a few hours, I think. That was a while ago. So I felt like showing people what I've done in the game. So I've played for almost 20 hours now. I did pretty much all of my factory in about 16. The other 6 hours have been exploring and streamlining of things. I've also recently color-coded everything. So I've got 4 sectors. My core sector, which is where I began, which is the blue and purple. We've got the green sector, which is my second level of development, which is where my more advanced things are done, such as reinforced plates, rotors, things like that. We've got the red sector, which pretty much everything in the red sector is built off of steel. So like a whole ton of steel production, and what comes after steel production is in the red sector, and then you can't see it here, but there's a white sector, which is where all my manufacturing is, which is on a different level. And I mean a literal different level. This is another person that was in my world at some point, so they're just hanging out. There's a car all the way about 20 minutes away from here that's broken and far beneath the earth or in orbit somewhere because of a broken glitch. Not really sure how it happened. I have a few guesses. We'll get to that later. So, I chose the kind of deserty, flat area, and then I went over here. So this is pretty much where I started. As you can see, I have a jetpack. Almost all of my iron comes from those 2 extractors. Because it's nice, pure iron, it pretty much feeds almost everything. Except the green area, that kind of has its own independent pure iron that I can feed off into other stuff when needed. So everything here, I've got 4 of these constructors creating bars. All those bars feed into a storage container. But at the beginning I was having everything go in containers for future use. So I've got these containers. This one was obviously upgraded eventually, but we've got bars, we've got plates, and then this was added later to add wires. So, yeah. The plates I've recently had to improve production on, but I didn't really do much. I just added some power slugs because I really needed plates. That was a weird sound. So yeah, I got all these. I only recently, because I had so many metal plates coming out of production, I had to increase production of metal plates as we come now into my green sector. So I had to pipe off some of the iron ore that I was making, and then turn it into additional plate production. All these plates go straight back over to where the box is to feed into that system. Over here we have 4 of these assemblers, all of them taking plates and turning them into superior reinforced plates. And then all of these reinforced plates feed over this way. I could just do this. All of them feed over to this splitter, which then divides one of them into an assembly, which is making the modular frames, and the rest is going into this box, which is now full. And then from the box, I had to later increase production of modular frames, so I built this area over here, which is taking all 3 assemblers into one storage container. That storage container is then shipping them off to my manufacturing area, which we will see later. Now, back over to the green sector. I have 1 assembly making rotors because I don't need any more. Rotors at the moment are only used in motors. So I just have the 1 and a huge storage box. And I got screws and bars coming into here. And I got bars going into that one. I got bars being shipped all the way over there as well for those. So like all of this green area is pretty much just dedicated to modular frames and rotors. That's all this green area is dedicated to, and the plates over there that were recently added. Oh, and the reinforced metal plates. Over there is a drop-off point for coal, and coal is like 1.5 kilometers or meters away. Hold on, what is it? If I just do iron, that should give me what it is. Meters. So it's 1.5 meters away. 1.5 thousand. That's 1.5 kilometers away in that direction. So I've got like 4 deposits of coal, all pure, all being shipped in on 2 different trucks. One of the drop-off points is over there, the other one here. All my coal is being used for at the moment is the 8 coal generators and smelteries to make steel. Now, on the topic of steel, let's head over to the red sector. Here you'll see a place where copper wire is being shipped in from a different source. I've got so much of it, I have 2 different stations shipping it in. Oh, 2 different places just to get it all in effectively. On that note, this is a recent addition, but I had to massively increase my production of wire. So I built this, I have that, and then there's that platform over in the blue sector that's also producing wires, because I had to massively increase my production of wire. Again, let's continue on. On my left, you will see another truck station. This one is dedicated to bringing in plastic. Look, speak of the devil, here's my truck bringing in plastic as we speak. And look at that, look at how much plastic is coming in. That's a lot of plastic. And that's how much is being used. As you can see, it leaves and heads on a great journey. I'll give you a small display. All of those conveyor belts, yes, they're heading to the manufacturing sector. Now, as we continue over this way, white, as I said, is all the stuff dedicated to manufacturing. This is obviously a part of that. Here's another small glimpse down there. Now, red sector. The red sector has all my concrete and industrial beams and whole tons of shit. Where's my tower? Here we go. This will make it easier. So this little area was once an independent area before my need for concrete came in. So I massively increased my usage of concrete and its production since I started making a whole ton of platforms and stuff. So it started on just this, and then it's being split into six different constructors, all of it dedicated to making concrete, all from this one mining place. And that's all being fed into that one container, which in turn is being shipped to 3 different assemblers, all of it making industrial beams. Because industrial beams are used in my tier 3 conveyor belts, and steel beams made in the tier 3. Oh no, these are tier 4. Whoops. So, that's just concrete. Over here, starting over this way, all the power was already here. I just recolored it later to go with the sectors, and all the coloring was done after everything was pretty much built. So over here we have coal and iron being brought into my smelteries. Oh, foundries, I mean. The foundries then process the steel beams into not steel beams, steel bars into these 2 constructors making steel beams. Those are then fed into that container over there. These 2 are making steel pipes. These pipes are then fed into this container here, both of which are currently full. These steel beams are then fed into here for the industrial beams, but I can just collect them when I need beams for conveyor belts. The pipes, on the other hand, are sent into all of these 2 constructors. This constructor is making stators, or stator, whatever the fuck they are, into this assembly, which is making a motor. So there's 4 assemblies dedicated to making motors, because they all need that shit. And motors are pretty much where that ends. All the red sector is pretty much just making motors and industrial steel beams. Now with the red sector done, let's head into probably the most difficult and most annoying part. I wouldn't say it's the longest, but it was definitely the most annoying. The white manufactorums, as I keep calling them instead of manufacturing. So, we'll go to the bottom first because I built the bottom area first. As you can see, I got all these conveyor belts feeding into the manufactorums, of which I shall continue to call them. All of this goes into the manufactorums down here. So, I got this one here producing the modular frames. The heavy modular words escape me. Modular frames. This one was built first because they were the most needed. Then, over here, I had computers. I did them second because they needed circuit boards, which are only used in this computer at the time. So I had to build assemblers to make the circuit boards. I had to ship the plastic in, so I got these two dedicated to that. So they're building them. Some of it's being shipped up to the second level as I get on my walkway. I got screws being made locally to be fed in. All this stuff being shipped in just to those two manufacturers. Everything on this level dedicated to those. I also built these walkways later because they're nice. I did all these in the past couple hours because I liked having walkways for some reason. So that is making computers, which this isn't completely full yet because the computers are being sent to the second level, which we shall now go to via the walkway. So yeah, all of that for those two. Just remember that. And then we come up here. Now this is special tech that can only be found by exploring the world called Caterium. God, what's it fucking called? Yeah, Caterium. Which pretty much just produces quick wire, and that's about it. Quick wire is then used in a lot of things. So up here on this level, we have another two manufactorums. Actually, no, another three. I have two of them producing high-speed connectors. These two then have shit tons of fucking crap coming in again just to make the connectors, which then feed into this last manufactorum just to produce supercomputers. Oh, it seems I'm out of fuel. Alright, I'll have to go collect some of that. Nope, that's the wrong thing. Here we go. So yeah, I have tons of fucking stuff. The way I did these was working backwards. The best way to explain that would be to go down another level. I didn't have to build that, I just did it for the aesthetic. Because it looks nice with that there. Because it looks like it's actually being held up. So yeah, I built all these walkways pretty recently. So yeah, the best way to explain the way I made these manufacturers is you don't build forward. They obviously need all of this, but you don't go building them first. No, you build the manufacturer first. You build it where you want to, and then you see what you need. Like it needs 10 modular frames, 15 steel pipes, 5 encased beams, and 90 screws to build one. This builds 2 per minute, so you need obviously double that per minute. Once you have that, you then work backwards. Okay, so I have these modular frames being built. They're not being used in anything, so I'll just ship them in. Steel pipes. They're being used for a few things, but not that heavily, so I'll just ship them in. Industrial steel beams. They're not being used for anything, but I do need a lot more since they're used for these things. So I'll increase production to meet the demand and have some surplus. Screws. Not storing them, so I'll need to build some extra production. So then you work backwards. So with the industrial beams, you need more steel beams. To get more steel beams, you need more foundries making steel. So you work backwards. So you start with what you want to make, and then you work backwards to get what you need. That's pretty much how I did it. And then that's how we ended up with all of these conveyor belts feeding stuff in. And boy, getting that to work took me some fucking time. That's not all. That's the main base. Now let's head off to my outer rim, where a majority of my power is produced. Speaking of power, let's see how much I'm producing and how much I'm using. I'm currently using 1.5 megawatts. That's not with my factory in full production. If you recall, the green and blue sectors not actually currently working, just on standby. Now, let's go to where my power and my plastic is produced, which is some distance. I also need to get some fuel along the way. So that's all of my main, well, probably not all of it, but pretty much most of it. You'll probably see the other pieces here and there. Fuel. Let's just grab a stack of this. Alright, now let's head over. Actually, let's head to where my additional copper comes from. I've got one source of impure bringing in some. But let's head to where the majority of my steel wires are produced. And I mean a majority. I have 16 constructors working steel wires. That's how much wire I'm producing and using. And it is quite the journey. Originally I had the areas independent on power. I realized that was a stupid idea because I had to ship coal out to each area and that was just gumming up the works, making things not work properly. So here we are. First additional area producing copper. Dedicated to copper, in fact. Where's this? Let's just get a bit higher. So, all of this comes from 2 sources of pure copper, I think. Either way, one mine is supplying 8 constructors. 1. So I've got 1 dedicated to all of this area, 1 over there dedicated to all that area. So that is a ton of fucking copper wire being produced. And there's so much being produced, I had to build 2 truck stops just to supply it. Yeah, that's a lot of copper. And that feeds all the way back into my main base. Okay, let's move on. Over here is where I suspect one of my trucks got glitched. So I quarantined it and sealed it in. There is a door. So I originally had one of my truck lines driving over some little critters. I come back to find that truck is gone and halfway across the map, deep either in orbit or below the ground. I suspect it was these little fuckers. Because for whatever reason, they broke my truck. So I quarantined them under suspicion of sabotage. So now they're just in this little prison. So yeah, I had to build that truck, delete all of these stupid pathway triangles. That took a while. And then I had to rebuild the route. So there's a truck, which is that one, somewhere. I actually took a big long fucking journey over to where that truck is because I wanted to know what the fuck was going on. I got to where it was. Just wasn't there. So it's either underground or in the orbit. Could be either one. And I suspect it was these little fuckers. So now they're quarantined and stuck in a box. That's where the copper was. Alright, so over here is where all my... Well, not all, but a vast majority of power is produced. That guy's pathway is a little fucked up. So I have 8 of these fuel generators running, each producing 150 power. So there's that much fucking power I needed to produce all of these just to keep it going. So all of this is coming from just a couple of refineries that have some power slugs to boost them. Also, all this stuff got painted when I actually equipped the paint tool for the first time, and I kind of back painted everything, which was weird. But it happened. So yeah, all of this is coming from the 3 refineries into 8, because that's how much fuel they were able to produce. So this is the exact amount. Nothing is being wasted aside from So they have a maximum use of, I worked it out, some number per minute. I think it was like 24 per minute or something. I don't know. It's 2 per 10 seconds, 10, 2 times 6, 12. So it's 12 per minute per generator. But it uses less than that because I'm not using the full potential of my generators. So it actually uses less than 12 per minute. But with the refineries jacked up with a little extra fuel, I'm still doing pretty good. Oh shit, this is actually empty now. Oh, that's bad. Guess there hasn't been a delivery, but I am also using that much crude oil. I actually need to increase my... I need better of these. I haven't actually been here for a while. This is really bad. I'm using that much crude oil right now. I think I might have to double my stations here as well. Where's my plastic? How much plastic is in storage? This is actually pretty bad. I might have to... Yeah, that's bad. If this is actually being emptied, that means these things may not be on full production because they don't have the oil they need. Oh yeah, this is bad. I'm slowly going to run out of plastic production if I don't fix it. So basically the only way I can fix it, since I don't have better conveyor belts, is to double my number of truck stops, thereby doubling the amount of resources being pulled out of it. Because at the moment, that's as fast as it can pull, regardless of how much this truck brings in. There is not enough being sent to my other refineries that it can maintain the demand. I mean, these guys are fine. They're not pulling that much in. But I definitely need to increase the amount being sent over there. Shit. So I would need an additional truck stop. So yeah, I'd have to go back to main base in order to do that. I'd have to set up some more things. I could probably just get rid of this. Yeah. That's not good. I don't have enough fuel coming in to maintain my demand. That's pretty bad. Pretty bad. I definitely have to fully rebuild my pipelines. Like, what I might do is have... I really don't know what I'd do. But I really need to increase the amount. Because I have 8 refineries all producing plastic. So what I might do is have one truck stop maintaining this, cut that line off, and have another truck stop going directly into that line. But I'd probably have an extra feed doing something just to keep both systems fed. I don't know. But I need more oil. Alright, I hope people have enjoyed this tour. I got work to do to maintain my supply for the vast demand of plastic that I clearly need to keep. Alright, I'm probably going to record some Warcraft or Bioshock next, because I've only got one of each video. And I'll probably put this out tonight, alongside the update as to what the fuck's been going on. Yeah, I got some work to do here. But I mainly need to keep this flowing. Like, because it's partially being split here, what I'll probably do is have another splitter. Hold on. Here's what I'll do. I'll set it up now. A splitter here. And then eventually I'll put a merger here. And that'll speed up the amount of barrels going into here. So then that'll be like a constant supply line. It'll also allow me to keep this nice and fueled. So I'll probably put another truck stop over here. And that'll keep these barrels nice and flowing. Probably. I'll probably split the amount of barrels going in here. I'll have one going in here, and then I'll have another one going directly into those refineries over there. I think that's what I'll do. It's probably the best idea, because all of that is just dedicated to those. Well, half of it is going in here, and then half of what's coming in is being then divided among those. Yeah. That's probably what I'll do. See how it goes. Yeah. Later.